Yo, what's happening? We got all stands and Diamond is Unbreakable.
Hello everyone, X-Forts here, and welcome to All Stands in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 4, Diamond is Unbreakable. I'll give you guys a brief description of what the stand's ability is, who the stand user is, and what the stand's musical reference is. So to get started, the first stand to appear in Part 4 is an old friend, Star Platinum.
Why is this even counted? This shouldn't even, like, bro, this shouldn't even be in here right now, bro. But he did say every stand,
So Star Platinum is the original punching ghost, and I'm sure by now we are all very familiar with its abilities: super strength, super precision, super speed, enhanced eyesight, and all of its things like Star Finger and its aura punching barrage. And the only difference really between it from Part 3, obviously we saw Star Platinum stop time for a maximum of 5 seconds in Part 3.
Damn.
In Part 4 it's reduced to 2 seconds, so it's pretty much just Star Platinum, but a little bit weaker. But although the stand itself may be weaker, Jotaro has gained so much more knowledge, and he's a much more experienced stand battler, so the Part 4 Jotaro with his weaker Star Platinum is actually probably a better stand fighter than Part 3 Jotaro with his more enhanced Star Platinum. And because Star Platinum is a stand from Part 3 Star Wars Crusaders, its namesake comes from the tarot cards, the Star card. Unlike most of the other stands in the series having names that are references to songs and bands. Next up, we have the stand that is possessed by the main—
Bro, I always thought this nigga right here was JoJo's son, bro. Of course, I gotta watch the show still, but damn, bro. I got so many animes to watch, bro. And One Piece is just, that motherfucker just too damn long. But bro, yeah, I always thought this motherfucker was his son.
JoJo of the part, Josuke Higashikata. And his stand is, of course, Crazy Diamond. So Crazy Diamond, in terms of physical power, is almost identical to Star Platinum, and it sometimes almost rivals Star Platinum. It has incredible strength, incredible speed, and also incredible precision. But the one thing that's unique about Crazy Diamond is its restoration ability. Crazy Diamond has the ability to heal people and also revert inanimate objects to a previous state in their history. And throughout Part 4, we have seen Josuke get really creative with this ability and push it to its utmost limits. And
Please tell me what the hell was the point in punching through that lady? Like, bro, why? Why, bro? Damn.
His musical reference is to the Pink Floyd song Shine On You, Crazy Diamond. And the stand user is, of course, Josuke Higashikata. The next stand we have is Aqua Necklace, which is a stand that is entirely made of water and has the ability to have a liquid disguise, as it can just disguise itself as any liquids. It can also possess people once they drink the liquid that it's disguised as, or if it just goes inside someone's body, usually by forcing its way inside through their mouth. So once Aqua Necklace has possessed someone, he pretty much has complete control over them, and also has the ability to create injuries inside them. He usually does this in their head. And this stand, paired with its psychotic stand user, can make for a deadly duo. Aqua Necklace's stand user is Angelo Katagiri, and the stand's namesake is from the Asia album Aqua. Next up, we have the stand The Hand, an extremely deadly and extremely powerful battle-oriented stand. Its ability is to erase anything that comes in contact when its right hand does a swiping motion, essentially erasing space. And
man, what the fuck? What in the hell, bruh? Like, there's so many stands that... Why? Why are they even created, bruh? Too many of these motherfuckers is overpowered, bruh. A swipe... You do this, and motherfucker, you erase, bruh. That's crazy.
anything erased by the stand completely disappears from the current universe, and the space erased is filled in by the adjacent space surrounding it. Although it is said that this stand is almost as powerful as Crazy Diamond, it lacks in speed. And in Part 4, I feel like we only got to see a fraction of what this stand was fully capable of, by its limitations being its stand user. And the hand stand user is, of course, Okuyasu Nijimura, Josuke's best friend. And the hand's musical reference is to the band ironically named The Band. The next stand to make an appearance is Bad Company, a stand that manifests as a bunch of toy soldiers. 60 army men, 4 helicopters, and 7 tanks. And they're all armed to the teeth. So yeah, this stand's really meant to just overwhelm your opponent and just completely barrage them with attacks, and it's also great that any damage taken by Bad Company does not transmit to the user. And also any attacks coming towards the user will automatically be negated by Bad Company protecting the user. And the user is Keicho Nijimura, the brother of Okuyasu Nijimura. And Bad Company's musical reference is to the song and band Bad Company.
Bro, I ain't gonna lie, that was the stupidest stand I've ever heard, bro. What the fuck? That's about like that damn airplane stand, bro.
Next stand to appear is sort of not really a stand. It's Echo's Act 0 because it just appears as an egg and it came before Echo's Act 1, so I guess Echo's Act 0 would be a fitting name. So it really doesn't do anything. It's just an egg waiting to develop into Echoes, but we did actually see Koichi physically throw the egg at Keicho, so I guess that's something. The stand user is of course Koichi Hirose, and the stand's musical reference is to the song Echoes by Pink Floyd. Next stand we have is Red Hot Chili Pepper. This stand's ability is absorbing electricity and electrical transmission. The more electricity that the stand absorbs, the more powerful and more fast it becomes. So based on this stand's situation, it can be incredibly powerful, or if it was somewhere without electricity, it could be an incredibly useless stand. And the stand can travel at the speed of light through electrical towers and anything electrical, and it can also take physical objects with it in the electrical outlets, which make for extremely fast travel. And if he was to take a human through the electricity, it would kill them because the whole time they would be being electrocuted.
So basically, he gotta stay in the city to fight, bruh. Motherfucker can't go out of nowhere like how they are now and fight, bro.
And is really dependent on electricity, and it won't work unless it has it. Red Hot Chili Pepper stand user is Akira Otoishi, and its musical reference is to the band Red Hot Chili Peppers. The next stand we have is the Lock, and its ability is the ultimate definition of guilt tripping. This stand will attach to anyone feeling guilt and can also attach to multiple people at once. The point of the stand is to make you feel so much guilt to the point where you just commit suicide, and also the more guilt you feel, the heavier the stand will become, and people who can't see stands will just feel like this giant amount of guilt resting on them, which influences their decision to commit suicide. However, if you feel no guilt at all, the lock will not work on you at all, and it will just disappear if you stop feeling guilt after it's already on you. And also later in the series, we saw it gain another ability of lie detection. When Josuke was playing CeeLo with Rohan, the user showed up, and he explained that the lock will move when it senses honesty compared to if it senses dishonesty. And the stand user is a real prick, Tamami Tobayashi. The stand's musical reference is to the song by The Who, The Rock. The next stand that appears
that might have been the worst one on the list so far, bruh. That actually might have been the worst one on the list. What the fuck?
to actually counter the ability of the lock is Koichi's stand Echoes Act 1. The first act of Echoes, and it has the ability of Sound Maker. Echoes can write any sound effect on anything, even human flesh, and that sound will repeat itself over and over again with increasing volume. It's also been seen to be able to transfer words, as Koichi uses it to show his mother that he's telling the truth. But unfortunately, the stand ability is not that powerful, as it can be broken through sheer willpower, as Yukako, who's obsessed with Koichi, just completely dispels this effect just by her pure love for Koichi. But another good side to Echoes Act 1 is that it is the longest range out of all of the acts, and it's up to 50 meters. Stand user, like I mentioned, Koichi Hirose, and the song Echoes by Pink Floyd is the musical reference. And then once we get into Echoes Act 2 and Act 3, I'll leave that stuff out. The next stand to make an appearance is Surface, and its primary ability is to completely copy the appearance of another person. And with the copying of the person's appearance, he also adopts the same personality traits of the person who he is copying. Another ability of this stand is its force movement synchronization. This ability allows the stand to actually control the original copy, but it only works when it's standing face to face. For example, when it copied Josuke and it's standing face to face with Josuke, the original Josuke cannot attack the fake Josuke because the fake Josuke is just standing still. However, once they're not looking at each other and they get some distance apart, Josuke will have full control over his body. Although the stand's range is a few dozen meters, so it could be quite a distance for Josuke to get full control back. Surface's stand user is Toshikazu Hazamata, and the stand's musical reference is from a band from the States, Surface.
I ain't gonna lie, that stand could come in clutch though, for real. Motherfucker could save a motherfucker's life.
The next stand we have is Love Deluxe. It's a stand that is bound to the user's hair and allows the hair to grow various lengths, and it has a great amount of strength and dexterity. It can hold and capture objects with incredible speed and precision, and the user is also able to shoot strands of her hair at opponents, which she then controls freely. And also, this is a stand that doesn't have direct transmission, so if any of the disconnected hair is damaged, Yukako is also not damaged. Although Love Deluxe will turn white from too much stress being the person's hair, and if the user was to overuse the stand or take damage, then it would be unusable. Love Deluxe's stand user is Yukako Yamagishi. Love Deluxe's musical reference is from the Shide album Love Deluxe. The next stand appearance is Echoes Act 2. Very similar to Echoes Act 1 Soundmaker, but instead of hearing the effect, you would actually feel the effect written physically. And it's still true that Echoes can write a sound effect on any surface. And the stand is limited to one sound effect on one object at a time.
Like
and the effect will come into fruition once someone comes in contact with the sound effect. With Act 2, Echoes also enhances his speed. For a reference, it's fast enough to give the impression of disappearing into the air. And it's a theme that foreshadows Echo's Act 3's incredible speed as the stand gets faster in each evolution. The next stand we have is Pearl Jam, and its ability is to cure ailments through the indigestion of a specific dish. The stand is split up into multiple bodies, and then once ingested, it just makes you feel great when it's combined with food. It will heal wounds and also illnesses, but the extent to its powers are a little bit unknown. It can make water taste incredible, and also spaghetti seem suspicious. The stand user is Tonio Trussardi, and the stand's musical reference is of course to the band Pearl Jam. The next stand to appear in part 4 is another old friend, Hermit Purple. The stand has the ability to sense locations and thoughts by projecting them into a camera or television or really any sort of piece of technology that displays images. And even beyond that too, like the stand of a dusty street. And the stand can also be used for utility, like a transportation and also in a grappling hook sort of way, and also to pull objects towards him. And it's also the only stand that we've seen used in combination with Hamon. And the stand user is of course Joseph Joestar. Although we really don't see the stand used like it once was because Joseph is so old and his body's a little bit weathered. And because it's a part 3 stand, it is to a tarot card instead of a musical reference. The tarot card is the Hermit. Next up we have Octun Baby, which has the ability of invisibility. Octun Baby has the ability to turn its user invisible as a measure of protection. Depending on the user's stress level, the strength of the stand can increase, making the immediate surroundings of the user invisible as well. And since the user is actually a baby, we didn't get to see a lot of the stand, but because the user is so emotionally unstable, it can go from happy to crying in a second. The stand can be very sporadic and just completely make things disappear in an instant. I wish we got to see more of the stand, or maybe even saw the stand user return in later parts, but we didn't, or who knows, maybe we did because that's the stand's ability of invisibility. So maybe it was in part 6 the whole time. We just didn't know. The stand user is Shizuka Joestar, the last name Joestar because she was adopted by Joseph Joestar. And the stand's namesake is a reference to the U2 album Octun Baby. The next stand to appear is the greatness that is Heaven's Door. Heaven's Door is a damn OP stand that has the ability to turn people into books and write commands in them and also read their memories. And even manipulate people's memories by tearing out pages that completely erases the memories from the person who was turned into a book's mind. So once the user activates his stand ability on someone, he pretty much has complete control over them.
Wait, so this motherfucker, he reading people mid-fight, bruh. I ain't gonna, that's the weirdest shit I've ever heard. Like, what, bruh? Motherfucker turn them into books and read their memories. Don't nobody care about their damn memories. You better finish them off. Pause.
Them commands, changing their entire life by writing things that they can or cannot do, and really, Heaven's Door is an incredibly absolute stand. The stand user is of course the beautiful Rohan Kishibe, and the musical reference is to the Bob Dylan song Knockin' on Heaven's Door. Next stand we have is Rat, and its ability is Melting Darts. Rat can fire off bullets which have the ability to melt anything upon impact, and once it makes impact, it starts melting and forms like gelatin or clay. It's explained to be very painful and would often lead to death from just one victim being hit by a bullet. The range of their bullets is about 60 meters. And the strange thing is that there were 2 rats that had this same stand ability, so maybe just every single rat in the world has this stand ability if it were to awaken a stand, but I don't know, that's unclear. But if we did go by that theory, would that mean that every gorilla with a stand would be the stand strength? Or maybe every dog would have the stand the fool? Probably not the case, but it's fun to theorize. Like I mentioned, the stand user is just simply a rat, and the musical reference is to the band Rat. Next up we have...
Why the fuck does a rat have a stand, bruh? Like, what the hell?
Harvest, a stand that is made up of around 500 bodies, all that are identical in height and appearance and everything. They have the range of about the entire city of Morio, and they are used to collect things, but can also be used for combat. The main things we've seen Harvest be able to do is inject liquids into people, overwhelm people, transport the user, and also collect money around the city. It's a very good stand for utility and also good for combat. The speed of Harvest is actually pretty fast. When they're working together, they can scout the entire city of Morio in about a single day. And when it comes to the stand's durability, one Harvest can be destroyed no problem, and it does not transmit to the user, but if a substantial amount of the harvests are destroyed, it will transmit to the user. Harvest user is Shigekyo Yangu, otherwise known as Shigechi. The stand's musical reference is to the Neil Young album Harvest. The next stand appearance is Cinderella, which has the ability of body part replacement. This ability allows the stand to replace parts of the body by creating replacements from the slots in its hands. This stand has been seen on people like Yukako to increase her romantic luck, and also other characters to completely change their appearance and swap lives with someone. Cinderella also has the ability of magical lipstick manifestation. It's lipstick that when put on enhances beauty and luck, but if it's not applied regularly, it will distort the face and make it look deformed. Cinderella's stand user is Ayatsuji, and the musical reference is from the rock band Cinderella. The next stand to make its appearance is the infamous Killer Queen.
Oh, this one of them overpowered Johns.
Killer Killer Queen's first bomb and primary ability is to turn anything it touches into a bomb, whether it be a person or object. When turning an object into a bomb, once the object explodes on the user's command, the object will actually stay the same and will only damage the people around it. And if a person themselves have been turned into a bomb, once the user detonates that bomb, the person will be completely erased out of existence with no evidence left behind. This primary bomb is unable to interact with the physical world and will not leave any traces of an explosion or damage to any inanimate objects. Killer Queen is a short-range stand, and it also has punching abilities similar to Crazy Diamond and Star Platinum. Killer Queen's stand user is JoJo's Kira, and the musical reference is to the Queen song Killer Queen. And also alongside Killer Queen is its secondary bomb, Sheer Heart Attack, which is a standalone stand, although it is still connected to the main stand, Killer Queen, being that it's the stand's right hand. Sheer Heart Attack is an automatic stand that does not need its user to operate and is extremely long range. The way it works is that it senses out the person with the highest temperature, whether that be an actual person or inanimate object, and once it gets close to it, it will explode. This stand has incredible durability and it's almost indestructible, and as JoJo's Kira would say, Sheer Heart Attack has no weakness. Sheer Heart Attack's user is of course JoJo's Kira, and the musical reference is to the Queen song Sheer Heart Attack. Now on to the final.
I ain't gonna lie, that stand is tough, bruh. He ain't even got to touch nobody. Motherfucker win instantly.
Evolution of Echoes, Echoes Act 3. Echoes Act 3 does not have any of the abilities from Echoes Act 1 or 2.
Now that's where he really looked like Frieza.
This ability allows Act 3 to rapidly punch an object or stand, but will cause the object or stand to dramatically increase in weight. This effect will only last as long as Act 3 is within 5 meters of the affected target, and the closer Act 3 gets, the more weight is added. And Act 3 is the fastest of all the acts of Echoes.
Okay, master. Let's kill the hole!
The next stand we have is Adam Heartfather, and it is a stand that is bound to the user's soul. And in turn, it lets the user bind himself to photographs. He can manipulate items that are in the depicted area even if they are hidden out of view, and prevents depicted people from leaving that area. And in return, it also prevents people from entering the area. A big weakness to this stand is that the user is bound to the last photograph that they were taken in, meaning that someone can save themselves from this power by photographing him with their own images excluded. Adam Heartfather's stand user is Yoshihiro Kira, and the stand name Adam Heartfather is a reference to the song and album by Pink Floyd, entitled Adam Heart Mother. Next up, we have the
I ain't gonna lie, bro. That's one of them damn scary stands. That shit would scare the hell out of me, bro.
stand Boy to Man. This stand's ability is the Game of Fate. The way this stand works is that it drains the energy from another stand user that is playing the user of Boy to Man in rock, paper, scissors. And if the opponent loses the game, then they lose their stand. However, there are some rules. The stand can only play 5 matches. If it does not win 3, it can take all of the energy. If it loses, it cannot help but return the energy. Another ability is its stand control. The stand can control parts of the stand and body that it has taken from the opponent which it's playing the game with, such as it made Rohan punch himself in the face when he took that side of Rohan. Boy to Man stand user is Ken Oyanagi, otherwise known as John Ken Boy. And the stand's musical reference is the vocal group Boys to Men. The next stand we have...
That's an android from damn Dragon Ball. That's what that is. That motherfucker sucking energy out of people.
Is somewhat debated on whether or not it actually is a stand, and that is Earth, Wind, and Fire. It's disputed because some people are diehard to the fact that the stand user is an alien, which he is, but the stand's name and stats are all confirmed by Hirohiko Araki, so my theory is that he's a stand user from another planet. That's why his stand is a little bit different and he can't see other stands. So Earth, Wind, and Fire's ability are transformation. It can make the user transform his actual body into really anything with just a little bit of limitations. So simple things the user's fine with, like shoes and dice, but things with very complex structures, and also things that have more strength in him, like dynamite or explosions, he can't do things like that. And also, the stand gives him the ability of regeneration, as the stand user transforms his hands into ice cream, and separates it from his body, but moments later, nothing is missing from his hands. Earth, Wind, and Fire stand user is Mikitaka Hazakura, otherwise known as the Alien. The next stand to make an appearance is Highway Star. Highway Star is quite a unique stand with a ton of different abilities, one being its extreme speed. The stand is easily able to reach up to 60 kilometers per hour, which converted is around 37 miles per hour. Although it can keep that speed consistently, it cannot go faster than that, and it tracks down its target by scent. But once Highway Star catches up to its target, the way it seems to produce damage to people is by sucking out their nutrients. Also, when this star is chasing people down, it can dismantle its body and break up its feet and all of its body together.
Why the fuck is he standing like that?
Down with a bunch of different parts. And then once it comes to dealing damage, the stand will recreate itself and turn into more of a humanoid type figure. And lastly, the stand has a very odd ability of room creation, as we saw Highway Star's users seemed to be able to create a rather odd room that was inside the wall of a tunnel. This seemed to be used to lure stand users towards the stand. The stand user is Yuya Fungami, and Highway Star's musical reference is from the Deep Purple song Highway Star. Alright, now we're getting into the later stands for part 4, and the next appearance is Stray Cat. So the actual user of Stray Cat and just what this stand is can make for a whole video on its own, but for now we're just going to be focusing on the stand's abilities. So Stray Cat has the ability to manipulate air by using its whiskers. It's capable of creating compressed air bubbles strong enough to knock a person unconscious or enter their veins, which would effectively block blood passage. It can also protect itself by forming a bubble around its entire body, and as we saw when Killer Queen tried to kill Stray Cat, its bomb did not activate due to Stray Cat surrounding itself with no air. And also,
this motherfucker be giving people the plague, bruh. What the hell?
so because this ability is to manipulate air, most of its attacks are completely undetectable and are not able to be seen. It can change the shape of its air bubbles too, being able to pin people up against a wall like we saw it do with Hayato. And from that we can tell that it's a very versatile stand. It can also manipulate its air bubbles into tons of other different shapes as well if it wanted to. Stray Cat stand user is Tama, and its musical reference is the band Stray Cats. Next stand we have is a personal favorite of mine, Superfly. So Superfly is a stand that is bound to a telephone tower, and it traps whoever is the current user inside of the tower. So when someone enters Superfly, it allows the original person in the stand to leave, and then that would effectively make the new person inside Superfly the new stand user. Although stand ownership does not transfer, the person who left Superfly will still forever be that stand's user. So if you try to leave Superfly without having another person enter, you'll just become metal and eventually become part of the tower itself. And also it has damage reversal. Any damage taken by the tower is reflected. And if you guys want to see more on Superfly, I did an entire video dedicated to this stand and explaining its powers. So Superfly stand user is Toyohiro Kanedaichi, and the musical reference is a song and album by Curtis Mayfield, Superfly. Moving right along, the next stand to appear is Enigma. Enigma's ability is able to seal objects and people inside paper. This stand does not have a lot of limitations. As we've seen, the user is able to put actual people and also objects as big as a taxi inside just a single piece of paper. In order for the user to trap a person inside paper, the user must discover the habit that the target displays when afraid. And once the user witnesses this habit and is 100% sure that that is what they do when they're afraid, the stand is able to turn them into paper. But it has to be the next time after the user realizes that that's the habit. And once Enigma begins its capture, it is invincible and it cannot be stopped.
This motherfucker,
the stand user is Terunosuke Miyamoto, otherwise known as Enigma Boy. The musical reference is Enigma from an electronical musical project. Coming to the end of Diamond is Unbreakable, we have the stand Cheap Trick. Cheap Trick is a stand that no one would want. It attaches to your back, and if anyone sees your back, then it will immediately remove from your back and attach to the person that saw your back, and that kills you. And the whole time you have Cheap Trick on your back, it's constantly talking to you, just being annoying as hell. And Cheap Trick is actually a stand that will transfer ownership to the new person that's on their back, so stand ownership does transfer when it comes to Cheap Trick. So there's not many ways to remove Cheap Trick from your back unless you live in Morio. As we saw, if it's removed by force, it will just destroy the person's back, effectively killing them. Cheap Trick is a stand that does not follow the will of its user, and it can actually interact with people that are not stand users and just anyone. This can make for Cheap Trick being an extreme pain in the ass, as he would probably be yelling at people saying, "Hey, look at my back." Cheap Trick's original stand user was Masazo Kinoto, and then once he died, the ownership transferred to Rohan Kishibe. And the musical reference is the rock band Cheap Trick. And finally, we have the—
Bro, these stands, bruh, some of these just don't make sense, bruh. He just came up with some random shit in his head and put it in the show.
last stand to appear in Diamond is Unbreakable, and that is Killer Queen Bites the Dust. Bites the Dust is Killer Queen's third bomb that is implanted in Hayato Kawagiri. The bomb appears as a miniature form of Killer Queen that hides within whoever it is implanted in, being Hayato. And the stand works independently from its user's will, and will activate when the bomb is triggered. The purpose of this stand's ability is to protect its user's identity. It's implanted in Hayato because Hayato is the only person that knows the user's true identity. And anytime Hayato is questioned or interrogated about the user's identity, whoever the person or people are who are interrogating him, the Killer Queen Bites the Dust bomb will appear in the people's eyes, causing an explosion that will kill anyone that was seeking the answer of what the user's identity was, except for Hayato. And then without fail, time will reset and continue on, and the fate that Bites the Dust has created cannot be changed. Meaning that the people that suffered from Bites the Dust explosion the first time around, that will not change no matter what the situation is, even if they have no interaction with Hayato, they will explode having no idea why they're dying. All of this to protect the identity of the stand user. And the user himself is not even aware of all the time resets. The musical reference for Killer Queen Bites the Dust is the Queen song Another One Bites the Dust. And Killer Queen Bites the Dust stand user is Yoshikage Kira.
Wait, so what if the little one meet the big one? I don't know why that came into my head, bruh. But now I want to see them motherfuckers fight. Bro, I ain't gonna lie, bruh. I don't know the creator's name, but either this nigga is just creative as hell or he just came up with some random shit while he was high.